Grandstanders! Take it away, kid.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm just joined with my usual cohort, Uncle Joe McLaughlin.
Singular.
And right, at the end of time, there'll be a few things left. There'll be cockroaches, Cher,
And me in this chair.
and Uncle Joe in this chair. Well, we have a great show for you tonight, boys, and it's Joe and I for the first time in many years. We haven't done this
we
before.
haven't done a solo act in a while.
Yeah, we haven't. All right, so because the other fellas are at the Stanley Cup, and I hope they enjoy themselves.
Yep.
All right, we start with sad news. Bill Buckner, age I think 68 or 69, died this week of Parkinson's. And Bill Buckner was a wonderful ball player, 2,700 hits plus. You have to argue that
Batting champion.
if Harold Baines is in the
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, and I can tell you right now, any day of the week, you would, right, Joe?
You would take Bill Buckner in a
over
heartbeat,
Harold
yeah.
Baines. And but you know, obviously he made that error in 1986. But I want to remind everyone that game was tied, and if you knew anything about Red Sox lore at that time, Joe, the series was already over.
It should have been won the night before in Game 6.
Yeah. All right. So all of a sudden, the Red Sox fandom. We know now the pink hats, and everybody's so happy because we've won 4 World Series. But it was just a disgrace. For many years, they drove him out of Andover, Mass. He had to go to Montana.
Yeah.
The Red Sox fans were terrible to this guy, acted like he murdered 50 people. And it was I think one of the biggest black marks in the history of Boston sports.
Yeah, the fans. Well, all fans, I think, in every city witnessed Botman in Wrigley Field.
Right, and that was right.
We have a tendency to scapegoat people, like Drew Bledsoe, for God's sakes. We scapegoat him,
nothing close.
and he's a top 10 guy in completions and
No, but
everything.
Joe, nothing close to what Buckner
Oh,
has.
no, not that.
And the national media has been complicit for 20, 30 years in showing that video. It was a disgraceful thing, and Bill Buckner deserved better. He was a great ball player, a quintessential ball player, major league ball player, and a wonderful human
Well,
being.
and it happened against New York, and the New York media just loves to show that and cackle about it.
So I hope we've grown up, and I hope we've learned from that, because let me tell you something. First of all, he only played here for 4 years. And
Yeah.
I always consider Bill Buckner a Dodger.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah.
He's not a Red Sox.
He did bleed blue.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he was very nice to us when he shouldn't have been. All right, so we go to the Stanley Cup Finals, the Bruins against the Blues, and I think it's already over, but we have to go Game 1 recap. Of course, the Bruins started slow, Joni. We expected that, right, after an 11-day layoff?
Yeah, but I still think they carried the play in the first period.
Yeah,
they were they seemed to be the better team, although they were more evenly matched, and they were at the bad end of the score. They were down 2-0, but they looked like the better team even in that first period.
Yeah, we hit a couple of posts that could have been 2-1 very easily. But you felt okay going into the second period because you felt like the Bruins were a better team.
Yeah, they were going to clean up that Pasternak turnover. Wasn't going to happen again. Him and Marchand have been doing that lately, that behind-the-back diagonal pass
they fancy
that sets
pass.
up a break.
Yeah,
you know?
they want the perfect goal at times. But if you put the puck in the net, it seems to work out.
You don't do that in your own end like that.
So, of course, Timmy's not here tonight, but Tuukka, he was tested enough. The 2 goals, Joe, weren't his fault.
No. Yeah, that's why we're running shorthanded here tonight. Pete and Tim at the game tonight, right?
Yeah, but Tuukka played well. The 2 goals were just giving up the puck on their own end. And
Oh yeah, on
nothing.
turnovers, that the guys had point blank shots, beat them clean.
So we talked about Jordan Binnington, the rookie goaltender for the Blues, and he's come back to earth. Look, the fact is that that first game, the Bruins could have scored 8 goals.
Yeah, but you know that McAvoy goal was kind of a softie. I mean, that was point blank.
Yeah, he's
it
got to
just-
make
just-
that.
he's
Yeah,
got-
nobody's blocking, nobody's in his way.
Yeah, it was just a slap shot, just get in the way of it. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, I don't think the Bruins seem too worried about Jordan Binnington beating them. So I have a new person I hate on the other team. You need to have that animosity. Joel Edmondson.
Well,
What a punk he is.
well, he's the one who gave up the Corrali goal too on the pinch there. That by
But he's
was
a
it
punk.
Colson?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
one who was working over Bacchus. With the
giving
face
him back.
wash, and then when he was down, he gave him a freaking shot to the back of the head.
But he was benched for the last, say, like 10 minutes of the third period for
'Cause the
that
Blues
for
all
that Corrali goal. The Berube grabbed him, took him up, put him on
But
the
Joe,
bench.
would you agree that the Blues? I mean, they have a bunch of punky, tough guys, but they don't have a whole lot of talented guys. I mean, they're not even close talent-wise compared to the Maple Leafs.
Oh, they don't have the speed and skating of the Maple Leafs. No.
Maple
And-
Leafs were a better team. Are a better team than the.
Well, they're a different team. I'll say that. I'm not going to say one's better than the other because that's what hockey's all about. Those matchups determine why an 8 seed beats a 1 seed.
But Joe, look, the West was weak last year too, when literally an expansion team, first-year expansion team in Vegas can come and go to the finals. Shows you how weak that conference is. And again, St. Louis Blues just eked out a playoff spot, and now they're in the finals.
Yeah, but they didn't just eke out that playoff out. They really came on gangbusters. They were in last place on January 1st.
No, I know they eked it out,
They
Joe.
came-
Well, I mean, of course.
And
they
now
eked
I think they've run their run and they're going to
yeah,
start to fall
absolutely.
apart.
Do you think the St. Louis Blues look like a Stanley Cup champion?
They certainly didn't in that first game. You know, I was a little worried going into it, but especially with the size of that first D pairing. You know, they're big guys. The Edmondson you don't like either. But I was a little worried, but after that first game, the Bruins did dominate that game.
They sure did. You know that Brad Marchand may have had his worst first 2 periods of his career, right? He was pulling a Pasternak.
Oh, yeah, when Pasternak looked drunk 2 series ago
Yeah,
against
giving the
Columbus.
puck up,
there.
right? Couldn't
Yeah.
even hold the puck like he
Yeah.
was a peewee.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and all sorts of stupid passes.
Yeah. So when we go to the break, we're going to continue with the Bruins, and we're going to continue to talk about the first line.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Okay, Marcus Johansson for the Bruins, the acquisition at the deadline, may have been the best player on the ice, would you say?
Yeah. Well, remember we were making fun of it because when they acquired him, he played like 1 period and got hurt.
I know, right? Yeah,
and we
right.
didn't see him for like 3 weeks.
No, right. And look, people were upset. You know, they gave up Donato in the
Yeah.
Coyle deal. They gave up a 2nd and 4th round pick, which is a lot, and
But-
for Johansson.
But Johansson has been maybe the best all-around player if you take the series cumulatively, best non-goalie for the Bruins.
You know, he reminds me of what the perfect David Krejci looks like, right? Our dream
Oh, yeah.
David Krejci
Yeah,
player.
but he's not playing center. I'd put him at center a little more.
But he's very comfortable. He's very cool. He
Plays wherever you put him, left wing, right wing, center. He'll
he
play it.
slows the game down as far he lets the play develop.
Yeah.
And look, he's gone into the nitty gritty places that when Milbury early on in the Maple Leaf series said that Johansson was kind of a wimp and wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Milbury was wrong.
Well, he's got his head about him. He lets the game develop around him.
Yeah.
Lets everything happen and makes his pass. It's not too fast for him. The game goes nice and slow for him.
Yeah. So if you win game 2, if you go up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup playoff finals,
Finals.
You have a 92% chance in the history of the NHL of winning the series. So tonight, win, and the cup is yours.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Because, they've got a good crowd behind them. That was an awesome crowd
Yeah, right.
last time. And I hear that Belichick's going to be doing the flag tonight.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's
So you're going to hear a huge roar. You see when they just flash him on the Jumbotron, the whole place goes nuts. Now, with him doing that, the place is they'll be falling out of the balcony.
Well, you got to think speculation. I've heard that if it went to Game 7, the guy who lives down the street in Brookline would wave the flag.
Because he's out of town now, so
we'll talk about that.
He can't be
later.
right. He can't do it just right now.
No, but I think he's only the Game 7 guy.
Oh yeah, you save him for.
Yeah.
They already used ore. They shot them.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised they used.
Yeah, I would have said keep him in the back pocket.
I actually, instead of Belichick tonight, I would like Phil Esposito. I think that would have been.
I'd want Espo every game.
I
loved Espo.
Oh, Espo's one of my favorites. All right, then we'll quickly talk about the top Bruin of all time is Bobby Orr.
Oh, yeah.
The top Boston athlete may be Bobby Orr. Second greatest athlete. Now, Bruin, taking account that if the Bruins win the Stanley Cup and Bergeron and Chara would have 2, who do you put as number 2 greatest Bruin of all time? I think it's between Esposito and Bergeron.
Yeah, I think.
And don't
Espo was a better player. Jesus save and Espo scores on the rebound. He was
a unique skill.
He was a big guy. You couldn't move him out of the slot.
No.
And any rebound that came anywhere near him, he gathered it in, put it in.
So we're gonna give Espo the second spot.
Oh yeah.
But I give Bergeron the third spot.
Yeah.
I put Chara over Bork. Bork was like the Yastrzemski.
And Park.
Bork was like the Yastrzemski of the Red Sox. He was just here a long time and played very consistent.
Jean Rattel.
Yeah, but no, those. All right, well, we can go on that. All right, so Bruins now will win in 5 games, a gentleman's sweep.
Okay,
yeah,
you've come down a game.
I'm adjusting my prediction. All right, we go to the World Series champion Boston Red Sox, and we better say that as many times as we possibly can because it doesn't look good for this season. 29 and 26, 7 games now out of from first place against the Yankees. Joe, as we said last week, it's just a fight for the wild card spot.
Yeah, and now the bullpen's coming down to earth, and they're just not getting timely hitting. A lot of these games, it shouldn't come down to the bullpen because they're leaving someone on base in almost every inning. They just not get. Last year they got timely hitting. They were clearing the bases, and
part of the problem, Joe, has been that Andrew Benintendi has not been the player that we expected this year.
No.
At the very least, you expect Andrew Benintendi to be a 20 home run, 80 RBI, 280, 290. And he's had a disappointing season up to this day.
Yeah, much better OBP than he's had. I don't know what to say. And
then he's not a leadoff guy.
Yeah, and then you've got the black hole of Calcutta there at the end of the. Although JBJ's been hitting in the last week and a half.
Leone and Pierce. But the guy who should be leading off, and we had this question last week, and I waffled a little bit, but it's Michael Chavis.
Well, I give it to you. I think that's a good idea.
If you like the whole Mookie Betts premise of being able to have a leadoff guy who can hit a home run, check that box.
Yeah, OBP has been pretty good. He gets a lot of walks. He's got some plate discipline.
Yeah. Guy willing to hit to the right side.
Yeah.
He does everything that you would want. He's a second baseman.
He's not a fast guy, but he's not a slow guy either. He's good. He'll go first to third. He's not going to steal you second and third, but he'll go from first to third on a single.
But look, if it's a tryout, you got to give this guy 15, 20 games at leadoff and see how it works out for him. I think he has the personality. This just in from the Grandstanders live desk, Mitchie. 4 bags. We're calling him Mitchie 4 bags, not 2 bags. He just put on the DL, which means, oh, for God's sake, more.
Now we have no offense. We
more
have
Stephen
Martinez
Pierce.
in it.
At the game last night with the professor, and we snuck into the third row after the rain delay, and so I was right next to staring at Stephen Pierce, and I can tell you one of the reasons he's having a stinky season. He looked like he gained about 20 pounds from last year.
Well, he knows this is his last year. He just salted away, like $6 million he got?
And he was in those those chicken and dinners that you go
Yeah,
to when
he
you're
did.
MVP, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I think he's a guy that is washed up. Again, I worried about the production at first base, and we'll talk about it more at the break. We'll continue with the Red Sox.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Ah yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Okay, you didn't have to hear it from us for us to tell you a long, long time ago that when Dustin Pedroia was done, and the news, they actually had a press conference where they thought he was going to announce his retirement, but
He pulled the chair right out from under them.
at $41 million, that's
No,
around there
no,
that he's
no.
owed. There's no retirement. But Dustin kind of admitted that he's finished. Great career.
It's bad that it ended on a very sour note with him standing in the dugout saying, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me."
Yeah.
That was his swan song.
Yeah, well, you
And
see,
that couple of years ago, and there's been nothing since. He just collects a pretty hefty paycheck.
yeah, you're going to see a lot of puff pieces, but the fact is that he's the one who sabotaged the season 2 years
Yeah.
ago. He was just an average player last year,
Yeah.
right? Then got hurt,
And got sent home.
and got sent home.
Get out, you're a pain in the neck.
Yeah, so, and then they're paying him, so basically the last, 5 seasons and close to $100 million, they literally got nothing from Dustin Pedroia. He had a very nice career, but let's tip our cap, but happy to move on from Pedroia.
Yeah, and he's still like one of the highest paid middle infielders in the majors. Even 4 or 5 years into that contract, he's still gets a lot more than Xander.
And if you think that's not important, let me tell you something. The reason the Red Sox have such a pathetic bullpen is because they're still paying Pablo Sandoval. And if they had freed
And
up
Dustin Pedroia, too.
if they had freed up that $18 million, at the very least,
Yeah.
Sandoval, then you'd have a lot better bullpen right now sitting there, and we wouldn't be 7 games out. So this matters. So you can wax poetic about Dusty all you want right now, but the next 2 years you'll be cursing his name out.
Yeah, because it's an albatross around your neck. And that's just a way of, I think the owners are getting a little smarter in baseball, limiting the length of these contracts. But at the time, that was considered a bargain for the team,
Yeah,
too.
because it was really the whole Cano. He was at the same
Cano
time.
was going to get $200 million,
Yeah,
so
and
we got to get.
We got a bargain.
Yeah.
Because Cano's only like 10 times a better player than Pedroia could ever have dreamed about.
He's still playing anyways.
Yeah, but he's a better player.
Yeah.
Come on, that's not even close. But to show you how this hurts the Red Sox and being over the cap, the Red Sox, instead of picking 32nd in
Drop
draft,
10.
dropped down 10 spots in every round.
Yeah.
You say, right?
Yeah.
So instead of having the 32nd pick in the draft for the first round, it goes to
The
the second round,
42nd.
42nd.
And they maintain that place through the rounds.
So we're being hurt by Pablo Sandoval in
Yeah.
many ways. He's a freaking grenade, that fat tub of
And
shit.
I don't know if they lose international money, too, on top of that,
Yeah,
too.
no, it's unbelievable. He's the gift that keeps
You know,
on
and
top of our heads.
it pinches their development.
All right, Craig Kimbrell. He did officially move out of Brookline a couple weeks ago. That's what my source, the Hollywood one, said. So he's not coming back to Boston. 9 blown saves, Joe.
Could
If we
use
had-
him in the ninth inning.
Could we, right? Kimbrell, though he played poorly in the playoffs, always came through in the
Cora
postseason.
was talking like he missed him today. He said, well, we always had Craig coming in the ninth. I don't have that now, and we had to,
Because
Joey coming
everybody is
in-
out of position. Brazier should be a 6th inning guy.
Yeah.
Workman should be your 7th inning
yeah.
guy. Barnes,
eighth
8th
inning,
guy.
sharing with Joe Kelly. Remember?
Well,
They-
yeah, Joe Kelly had to go.
Yeah, but you get someone to replace Joe Kelly. They didn't.
They didn't. No, they didn't get anyone to replace
Yeah.
either of them.
Yeah.
It was poor planning. They just thought that Cora could somehow.
Well, I think Cora
Wave
said
his
to
magic
Dombrowski,
wand
"I
or
think
something."
I think I can manage this team," and he hasn't been able to.
Look, I said it. It's probably too late. But the guy who I've been saying since spring training to get rid of and trade to get his contract off the books would have been Rick Porcello, who's a free agent after this year. He's a 500 pitcher right now, Joe. Do you think you maybe still could get rid of him to a national team?
Yeah, I didn't buy your argument, but now as the season goes on, we should have. That would have freed up $24 million. You can buy a whole bullpen for that.
To me, you can hide, you can mask, and look, the Rays did it. You can mask starting pitching. You can't mask bullpens.
You get Brian Johnson to come give you 3 or 4. Velasquez,
Ryan
3 or 4.
Weber,
Yeah.
Velasquez, right. Guy, we've taken guys literally off the
They don't have
couch.
to give you 7 innings. They
No.
give you 4 or 5, and someone else. Then Workman comes in for 2 or 3. Guys that can give you more than 1.
Look, Henry Owens made a career of just coming up, spitting a bit, and going back down, right?
Walking a half dozen every time he came up,
Yeah,
and going
right.
back down.
And yeah, and we always had and also, obviously Stephen Wright got jammed up, but he would have been the perfect guy in planning for the season, getting rid of Porcello, thinking you could get at least 10, 15 starts off, right?
Oh yeah.
So again, another mistake by Dombrowski. Does he get a free pass because he won the World Series?
Oh, of course you do.
Yeah.
I think they're playing with house money on that. The good nature of the fans coming off the glow of a big championship victory.
But if
They'll have to go to work now after this.
But if they think Evaldi's going to come back, Porcello could still be on the trade market. Now, making even maybe more attractive to a team because they don't have to pay him as
Well,
much.
and especially where the Red Sox have had developmental problems, where they're being handicapped by the salary cap rules now.
And also, they trade away a lot of their prospects to get these guys, the Sales and the Kimbrels.
Be sellers at the trade deadline. I don't think it'll hurt you that much, and maybe stock some prospects in there. Pitching, especially, is what they don't have.
Yeah.
They've been able to develop.
Yeah, All right. Well, we'll continue a little bit with the Red Sox and go to the Super Bowl champion Patriots after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. And it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Okay, we're kind of having a love affair like we have with a love-hate relationship like we have with JBJ with Rafael Devers, and it's early on in his career. Right now, Rafael Devers is looking like a big star. A future star.
He's the one guy. Definitely, I think in the long run he'll be a better hitter than even Mookie, because he hits good pitching too.
Yeah.
Mookie can be neutralized by a good pitcher. Devers can't be. He's such a
that's a great
wild
point.
card at the plate, and he's getting better plate discipline. He's walking a little more. He's getting better. He's getting himself into better counts. He's seeing
And
3
not
ones.
an error in a month, Joe. Yeah, the thing that I loved about Manny Ramirez is he hit good pitching.
Yeah.
Big Papi did too, but if you had a tough left-hander, that was tough on Papi at times. But Manny never a problem with any guy.
And
we
we've
won
hit-
a lot of 1-0, 2-1 runs because Manny drove in those runs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, before we go to the Patriots, the Brocksters.
Welcome back, Brock Holt.
Welcome back. And
You didn't think you'd want to see him, but
nobody loves Brock Holt more than I do.
having
this year.
Edwin Nunez and
Oh my God.
Stephen Pierce is as your bench. It didn't work.
Yeah, look,
Didn't
Brock,
work.
Just a couple of games ago, Brock had a great up at bat where he just stuck the bat out, hit the ball to left field, driving in a key run. He plays a solid second base. Yeah. Our depth in our bench just became much greater now that Brock's
Oh yeah, he can play all 4. Well, I wouldn't put him at shortstop unless you're really in a pinch.
No, but I'd rather have him at shortstop than outfield. You know how much I hate him in the outfield. I mean, I'd rather have Brian Daubach.
He's Daniel Nava in the outfield.
He's totally. All right, we go to the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Maybe you heard of them. And I don't know, I got the biggest chuckle out of the Ben Watson story this week. So Ben got suspended for 4 games for steroids, and what his comments were that he thought, he retired. So then that was the opportunity to start using steroids.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the Patriots called and damn, oh my God, I've already started my steroid program because I know
I've already cycled, Bill. That's all right. We'll still sign you.
I know people across the land who are watching this show who have retired, and congratulations. I know the moment you retire, you start your steroid program.
Oh yeah, that's
to build muscle.
You've been missing out all these years.
And if you saw Ben Watson, and he obviously was a former Patriot, the guy
he was always
been
jacked.
stacked. Yeah, he's completely jacked up. So yeah, okay, Ben, whatever you got. But apparently the Patriots knew that. They knew that he was already suspended.
Yeah,
before
maybe
they
they're
signed.
fine with it. Like bring him back halfway through the year, like Julian Edelman last year, Tom Brady the year before.
Yeah, I mean,
it's part of the program now.
Well, we have to do that. These veteran players in the Patriots have literally played additional seasons because of all the playoff games they've played. You've got to Chris Salem and Rob Gronkowski them, right?
Yeah, they're 3 extra games each year. Every 5 years there's a season.
But they're intense games too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
And
not a joke.
you don't take a play off in those games. They're playing like 90% of the snaps in those games versus 50% during the regular season.
Yeah. All right, Tommy Brady, Brookline's own Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He lives down the street, and he was there. You know, you can see him in his big backyard practicing with all the fellas.
With N'Keal Harry too.
So explain to me why he can't drive down Route 1. I know he knows where Gillette Stadium is, and
He was leaving town.
why can't he go to the OTAs a couple of days, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and show up?
The party line out of Foxborough is that if you can't be there for all of them, don't come.
Oh, but so you don't think
We would prefer you didn't, disrupt the organization.
Oh, so you don't think that his key would work?
No. He loses parking space.
I don't understand that. When you talk about work camaraderie and building a team for this year, when, of course, they changed the team, the coaches and stuff, why wouldn't he show up? Is it just
He might have business commitments. Right now he's out of town. He has business
I know,
commitments.
but you can push their commitments. Everyone has commitments, but he has the commit on his calendar would be OTAs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I imagine.
Is it just I want to remind everyone who's the king?
Well, I'm getting old and I can't do 9 months of the year anymore. Bring it down to 7.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And also, they make him jog and stuff, and he doesn't want to be the guy who's standing.
I'm sure
there
he's not going to come in out of shape. It would be better, like he did all those other years. He came for every one of those.
Yeah.
And the other 31 quarterbacks in the NFL have all made it to their
Yeah.
respective OTAs.
Right. Look, and it's not a contract thing because everyone said it was a contract thing last year, and he didn't show up and he didn't get any new contract. You know what I mean?
Oh, he got a terrible one. They said they gave him all incentives and he didn't reach any of them.
Yeah, right. So I'm saying it's not one of those things,
Yeah.
because nobody really cares because no one expected him to come in the first place, right?
Yeah. Well, he is due to be extended right now. I think this is...
Yeah, well, they got to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Otherwise, this is it. This is
no,
last year.
trust me, he's not going anywhere.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. That would be... I think Kraft would sooner get caught in the massage parlor again than not have him retire as a Patriot.
He's going to the massage parlor.
Well, no, the
He just doesn't want
massage
to get
parlor
caught.
is coming to him from now on.
Exactly right. Yeah, you know that. Like his hairdresser comes to his house.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to the hairdresser. Yeah, I mean, the girls can't come to the house.
Look, John Henry's house, they got 2 hair salons in it. I'm sure they got one at the Crafts.
Absolutely. All right, my sources are telling me that N'Keal Harry is a monster of a man, and
Big guy too.
People are comparing him to saying that he, as far as Rob Gronkowski, that he's kind of gonna replace him in some ways as far as. But what he is an Aaron Hernandez type player.
I wouldn't say he's more a Cordarrelle Patterson player with skills.
Oh, come on, let's have.
He's that size. He's 6'2", 225.
You don't think he's more of an Aaron Hernandez type?
I don't think they're going to be using him as a running back or as an H back.
Oh, I think actually he is going to be an H back, a slot guy.
Oh, they might put him in the slot every once in a
But
while.
I think they'll use an H back if he's a good blocker.
Too small for that. He's
too small.
He's still 25 pounds smaller than Hernandez.
I know, but he's going to get bigger. I mean, look, he's a lot younger too. You just watch out for that. That's going to happen.
He'll play the X and the Y. He won't play the.
But it's very exciting. I think it's more exciting than last season only because the young players always turn me on in the sense that I just love watching the progression.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't end up like the last dozen young
The wide
wideouts
receivers?
that
Yeah.
we've brought in.
I still haven't gotten over Hartley Dykes. All right, that's our show tonight. Want to thank Joe.
Oh,
Want to thank.
Hartley Dykes.
Yeah, we want to thank the glue of the show,
William.
the intern. Please check
We
us
wanted to bring him out here with.
Yeah, right. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of the Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.